Episode 2, the Elevate Cleveland podcast kicking off. Chris, I know you're excited. It's like Christmas Day for you, man. You're like a kid in the candy store.
Christmas Day times 2, baby.
That's right. And we got an awesome guest today. Awesome guest. I've had the pleasure of knowing Mr. Zack Buckeye for some time now. Zack, first of all, one hell of a story. One hell of just an amount of discipline with this guy here. We're going to get into all that. But first and foremost, introduce yourself to our viewers. Let them know who it is you are, and we'll just roll on from there.
What's up, guys? So my name is Zack Buckeye. I'm an entrepreneur, bodybuilder, former engineer, University of Akron graduate, and I'm here to kind of just tell my story about my business, Buckeye Brownies.
Awesome.
And anyone who is not watching this on YouTube, if you're listening right now, this dude is literally the human representation of an armored vehicle.
Yeah,
That's right, man. That's
Dude,
right.
seriously, because you're a bodybuilder.
I am. Yeah, I compete in bodybuilding. Yep.
When did you? So let me just ask you that. Like, when did you get into bodybuilding?
So I mean, I've always been into lifting and stuff. Played high school football and baseball, so that's kind of where it originated from. But I always wanted to manipulate how I look. I've always wanted to be like Arnold Schwarzenegger in the magazines. I always wanted to be like big and buff. So once I got to college, that's when I kind of started actually learning like how to train properly, how to eat properly, and like dedicating certain weeks, months, etc. You actually see your body transform. So my first competition I ever competed in was in fall 2015. And I ended up competing at I was 143 pounds on stage.
So how old were you when you first competed?
I was about 22 years old.
22. And how old are you now?
I'm 28.
Gotcha. So you've been doing this for a while.
Yeah, about 6 years. It's fun. It's cool seeing your body transform over time. And yeah, no, it's a fun little gig. So,
Do you think, I mean, I have to imagine, Zack, because it's not like you're just doing this just for the hell of it, right? This is not just some shits and giggles hobby. Like, you're literally balls to the wall with your bodybuilding. And again, we're going to dive mad deep into that. But I have to imagine that going from sports into bodybuilding, there's some sick competitive thing in you that just it's all within yourself. Now, yeah, you get up on stage and you're competing against other people, but it's really you every day in the mirror. Is that just do you have a super competitive bug in you? Is that why sports resonated with you and now you're in bodybuilding?
So it's actually funny you said that, Dom. So I actually grew up wrestling. I wrestled for 3 or 4 years when I was 6 to 10 years old. But ironically, I couldn't handle losing because it was all on me, and I ended up quitting. And I loved the team sport atmosphere. But then as I kind of got into high school and college, group projects, team sports, I started gravitating towards managing everybody, telling everybody what to do. Everybody hey, guys, this is the game plan. This is what we got to do. So once I got into bodybuilding, I knew, hey, I can control every aspect, training, nutrition, diet, sleep, supplementation. I can control all those things to yield a specific goal. So it was funny how things ended up changing. And yeah, there's the competitive mindset of, I see other people on social media, they look so crazy. I feel so far behind them. So you kind of just stay, I stay always motivated and kind of pushing myself to kind of just become the best I can be. And the cool thing about bodybuilding is that really the sky is the limit. You can essentially be building muscle for 10, 20, 30 years. You could get as lean as you possibly can and try to get leaner after you hit that mark. So, yeah, it is you versus you. It is all what you see in the mirror. But it's just the fact that you can control all those attributes. You don't have to rely on anybody else. If I want to skip cardio at 5 a.m., I can, but it's on the plan. So I wake up, I get it done. I make sure I eat my 5-6 meals that they're prepped right when I wake up. And I just stick into a structured regimen, which it's all part of the journey. It's fun.
Yeah. So go into that regimen for us. So let's say, you're competing 2 months out or whatever. What are you doing in preparation for that?
So a contest prep usually is around
Contest, I'm sorry.
Yeah, contest prep. Usually around 12 to 16 weeks. And it's very, very strict dieting. You have so I hire a coach, and some people do it on their own, but that's, once you're dieting for a long period of time, your mind starts playing games with itself. So I hire a coach, and he gives me a set amount of cardio to do per week. I have to eat these 5-6 meals each day. How much water to take in, what supplements to take, how many steps I should be taking, everything you could think of. And of course, it's easier said than done because I've been doing it. But you just check each box throughout the whole day. For me, of course, like nutrition was the hardest thing. I always loved training. I always loved like pushing myself in the gym, and then getting on a very strict, structured plan was like, that was the big curveball for me. So that was just a trial and error, learning out. Like I said, I used to be, and I mean, we'll get into this, I used to be an engineer. So I was driving an hour to my job site every day, and I'd have to bring four meals already prepped. I'm working 9 to 5, if not longer, with an hour drive. I don't have much time to cook in the morning, so I got to prep that like on the weekend for like the whole week. So yeah, 3 to 4 months out, everything's very strict. There's no fun pizza, burgers, etc. Everything's very regimented. And then as you kind of get closer to your show, you start monitoring your weight. I send photos to my coach every week. And he monitors my progress accordingly. If I'm losing weight too fast, we might actually add food. If I hit a wall, then we'll have to be like, all right, let's add some cardio or remove some food. And it's kind of like a push and pull type of game. And then you keep losing weight slowly, but the training stays the same. The cardio will stay consistent until he tells me to increase accordingly. And then as you get closer to your show, you keep dieting, you start looking your best, you start getting these 6-pack abs, you're like, yo, where'd these come from? And you start getting super vascular and all this stuff, and you look crazy in the gym. And it's just the fact that you could like create a physique that you never knew you had. Yeah. That's one of the things that like made me addicted to me. Like I got really addicted to the sport. It made me really like, I was just very intrigued with the fact that like I can go from like kind of looking okay in the gym to be like absolutely shredded.
Sick,
armored
like,
vehicle.
Just cut up, right? Just cut up.
So,
Dominic, he talks about having a coach. We talked with Marcus, in our last episode. How important his one piece of advice, if you remember at the end, was get a coach, hire a coach.
If you want to be successful, that's right, in your industry. That's right.
So you pay for your own coach.
Correct. So,
how important is that to you? Just to reiterate.
That's Gary, right? You're still with Gary?
Gary, yes. Gary's still my coach. When I'm trying to like put on weight and bulk up, I'll do my own thing. So right now, I'm trying to like get as big as I can right now, and just eating a ton of food, training hard, getting progressively stronger. But during prep, I'll hire my coach, Gary. It's just vital because like once you start looking good, and like let's say like a month or two out, I'm looking pretty good. I got 6-pack abs. I'm looking decent, and I'm like, I think I'd love a burger and fries right now. I think I could have one. It wouldn't hurt me too bad. Or like that milkshake. I don't think so. But then having that coach would be like, hey, let's wait 4 weeks until the show's over and then do what you want. But like it just keeps you in line. And especially like once you start, I really have no craving. Especially right now, I'm eating so much food, I don't have any cravings at all. But like once you start looking good and I lose 10, 15, 20 pounds, and I start seeing those veins come out, and I start seeing those abs come out, that's when I'm like, my cravings go through the roof. And like I said, hiring a coach, especially for bodybuilding, is essential because it keeps you in line, keeps you accountable, and just keeps your head on straight because some people end up cheating on their diet. And cheating on their diet could be, it's a snowball effect. So,
so for somebody, let's say Zach, who, and I don't know, production team, can we put up like a bulk and a shred picture? Is that something we could put into YouTube for him?
Yeah, throw some
we could do that.
up.
Yeah, let's throw that up so people see how sick Zach really gets. I mean, this guy, he gets lean when he's up on stage. For you, Zach, like, in your opinion, because this is how I think about it, and this is, when I used to talk and work out with Gary years ago at the gym in Twinsburg. What's that? I forget what that one is in Twinsburg, but nonetheless, that big sports arena. But nonetheless, he used to say, hey, when you're doing dieting or working out or this and that, and I think this is important for anybody listening because health is important to business. I know we are an entrepreneur-driven.
Absolutely.
It's integral, right? Having a healthy regimen, a diet, exercising, it's going to help your sales increase. It's going to help your business increase. Don't believe me? Go listen, to guys like Andy Frisella. Any successful person has a good workout regimen. People think, oh, my diet starts Monday, right? That fad where it's like, oh, I'm going to just eat shit this entire weekend. I'm going to just start everything on Monday, and I'm going to throw all factors at the wall. I'm going to eat clean. I'm going to cut out all this stuff. I'm going to cut the pop. I'm going to do 40 minutes of cardio. I'm going to hit the weights. Sure. Why is throwing everything at the wall and hoping it sticks a bad model versus like what Gary will do with you is like, hey, let's start the cardio here, and then at least I know in a few weeks if you're not losing weight, I can up the cardio, but if I throw all factors, then I don't know what to take away.
Great point. No, I mean, and especially I guess for somebody that doesn't compete, let's just say, if you the diet starts Monday thing, you throw the whole kitchen sink at them, they're only going to last a couple days, maybe a week. But you kind of give them like small adjustments, and like I said, I always say like the smallest changes can yield the biggest results. So some people that are very unhealthy, I would say, hey, like let's cut out pop. Let's start there.
Just start there.
With one thing. Just one thing.
Let's cut out pop. Let's cut out alcohol. Let's go for a walk. 3 days a week, walk outside. So just those small,
very small wins.
Things. And then they cut out pop. They cut out drinking. They lose 5 pounds. Nothing else changes. They just do those couple things. Okay, that's a great start. Now, okay, then, and some people will come to me, and I'll be happy to help them out. Hey, Zach, I've hit a wall. I've been going to the gym here and there. I've been eating okay, but I did cut out alcohol and soda. And I lost 10 pounds, but now I'm hitting a wall. Now what? So then, and that's kind of where, and I tell you, hey, let's clean up the diet a little bit. You did the 2 small changes. Let's make one bigger change, and it'll keep going from there. So yeah, and at least for my contest prep coach, Gary, everything's like just small incremental changes. It's not like we're going from 1 day of cardio to a week of cardio.
Yeah.
Because if you make those changes so fast, people will get burnt out, even a competitor. If I go from 1 day of cardio to a cardio every single day, after like 1 to 2 weeks, although progress might increase for that 1 week or 2, my body could stall out, and mentally you could stall out.
Yeah.
So if you're used to that 3 days of cardio and at 20 minutes per se, then you go 3 days of cardio at 25 minutes. That's such a small change, but that 15 minutes over that week with the exact same diet, you should see some weight loss.
You should, yeah. Okay.
So
just small wins. I mean, it could be small adjustments like that really do create such a big difference in your body, because the body's so magnificent in that regard. And every 100%. Person is different. 100%. Across the board, I think you find a lot of similarities. But, I mean, it'd be true. Like, some people might say, Zach, I eat red potatoes, and God, I feel so bloated after. But another person's like, dude, I'm shedding pounds on the red potatoes. Like, so would your advice to somebody who like maybe doesn't have a clean diet, but they feel like crap, they're sluggish, would it just be like, dude, start listening to your body. When you eat something, sit, write it down how you feel. Like, do you feel sluggish? Would that be advice?
See, I mean, that's even better, because a lot more people are intolerant to more foods than they think. For example, like so the human body is actually like not made to process dairy. People love milk, cheese, pizza. Everybody loves it. I love it too.
Yeah,
I get it. But if I have a pizza now, my stomach ain't feeling good. I'm bloated. I'll be up a couple pounds the next day. My digestion's all messed up. Like, and those issues will persist over time. So it's really like finding. Let's say you're not even on like a perfectly strict diet. Let's just find foods that digest well. Be active. Do things that you enjoy. I've had some clients of mine that just like, I hate the treadmill. I'm like, all right, go for a hike, or go ride a bike. Go for a bike ride, 20 minutes a day, or 20 minutes a couple days a week.
Yeah.
So back to your question that you had originally, that we were talking about how integral working out, listening to your body, diet is important to business. So just from you, I mean, you're an entrepreneur, you have a very successful business, it's growing. How important is it to you when you go ahead and work out in the morning? Does it help your day? It sets your day up better? I mean, talk on that a little bit.
So, I mean, right now for me, because I'm training in the evening every day now. But
sure.
But like during a contest prep, when I'm doing my fasted cardio, and then I'm training in the evening. I mean, anytime, just having structure is essential. When I am doing my fasted cardio, like I'll kind of plan my whole day out. I'll get my social media posts done during cardio, so that because every morning now for my business, I post every single morning. I'll respond to all my emails, all my client inquiries if there are some, and all that stuff. So. And I personally like fast cardio. I don't have a treadmill in my house. I'm actually getting one shortly. But just being able to just create a schedule and follow that, it's so essential. I know it's kind of rambling on that topic, but and for me, it's kind of like I know it didn't sound like that, but I get to that's my peaceful time. So for us, for the whole time, for the whole day, I'm stressing. I'm running around. I'm handling customer. I'm putting out fires from customers' emails. I'm doing all this stuff, baking, packaging, etc. And then once all the 120, 150 packages are dropped off at the post office, I get to go to the gym and just have my me time.
Yeah.
I get to
Super
So it's like a
important.
relief for you.
Meditation.
That's what
almost.
helps you. Yeah, right. It's like a form of meditation that allows you to go balls to the wall when you're working in the office.
I like to put those headphones in, and I kind of like the world's gone. I don't check my Instagram, social media between workouts. If I have a customer like email come up, I'm like, hey, I'll wait till I'm on the treadmill after, or I'll just wait till I'm done with my training. So it's just like a way to. Ironically, it's a way to decompress, even though I'm like pushing my body to the limit.
Sure, different aspect.
Yeah.
But yeah, just like somebody like if they want to go like they like going on walks, they like reading, they like listening to music. I like training.
Yeah, right.
So and kind of what you said, Chris, is that when I'm in prep and everything's so structured, my business is actually a lot more structured as well. Even now that everything's like I write, if I have certain customers coming to pick up brownies throughout the week, I'll write it down, everything. But when I'm in prep, I'm up at 4 a.m. I'm in bed by 10. Everything is so much more
To the dot. Yeah.
to the dot than ever. And it just kind of happens like that. Once you have structure in your nutrition and your cardio and you're kind of taking care of your body, everything else kind of falls in place.
Just kind of flows.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's kind of get into that then. I'm curious. So like civil engineer, right?
Civil engineering, yeah.
And you were a project manager right after.
Correct.
And then now you're a brownie guy.
Yeah, right.
So take us through that. I mean, you went from a W-2 job, going right into an unknown territory. That's kind of scary. I mean, I have to imagine putting myself in that position.
It's a big leap of faith. It's a big leap of faith.
Absolutely.
I mean, you literally are going from W-2 job security, showing up on the job site 9 to 5, right? Maybe some overtime, this and that, to literally saying, hey, I'm going to put the team on my back. Like, that's wicked, man. That takes a lot of balls, seriously.
Yeah.
So what's that story, Zach?
So I'll start with like growing up. I love Legos. I love building stuff. So and I love math and science, and engineering is like very heavy in math and science. So the whole Legos thing, that's why I chose civil engineering. And right there you go.
Chris's project.
I ended up going to the University of Akron. I had a presidential scholarship. I went for civil engineering there, got my bachelor's there. It was cool. I had a couple internships. I got to see like both sides of civil engineering. There's the construction side, which is the project manager side, which is what I took, or there's the civil design side, which you're like designing what those roadways, bridges, highways are going to look like. I got to experience both. They were cool. The civil side was more like your typical desk job. The construction management project manager side was like you're in the field, you're with the laborers, you're making sure the project goes as planned. But so you're managing the project. So I graduated, I got a job at Turner Construction. Great, huge company in downtown Cleveland. They do a lot of hospital work, they don't do just a lot of big building work. And I was on this Cleveland Clinic Case Western Reserve Health Education Campus building right by Little Italy, East 100th. And great job. It was cool. I worked there for 2 years, and I was in charge of like paint, steel, and miscellaneous metals, just a couple things. But that's all I was in charge for. So there was like the cement, there was the glass guys, there was all these other people, and everybody had to come together and make sure the project was getting built on time, materials were coming in on time, and I had to make sure everything was being built according to spec. But then so how it all started is because of bodybuilding. So like I was saying, body contest prep comes. I'm dieting for 3 to 4 months very strictly. Towards the end, when I start looking decent, my cravings are through the roof.
Sure.
It's like I'm looking at stuff on social media like, man, it looks so good.
Tempting yourself.
Yeah, I'm drooling over everything. And then eventually after my that first prep, I would send my mom all these things like, Mom, I want this pizza, I want these brownies, I want this cake. And I sent her all this stuff, and then she started making me stuff. So after my shows, it was kind of like a tradition. She'd make me like these crazy loaded cookies or these crazy like fudge bars, whatever it may be. And one of the competitions, she made these layered brownies.
Okay.
And I was like, oh my God, these are so good. I gave them to all my friends. They're like, damn, these are amazing. Like, Zach, you should sell these. I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever. They're so good though, right? And then there was a competition maybe a week or two later, and they were like, a couple of my friends said, hey, I'm competing here. Can you make me these brownies? And I was like, it's my mom's recipe. Let me Google something. Let me see if I can make something.
Yeah.
I whipped something up.
Yeah.
I gave it to my buddy for free at the time, and And then I started posting on social media because I'm a fitness advocate as well. I love posting like little tips, tricks, dieting tips, etc. So I started posting about it. So it was on my personal Instagram. I have a decent following in like the fitness space, so I had some sort of following then, or some sort of community to showcase these two. Yeah. And all my other competitor friends were like, "Yo, I will buy these off of you. Yeah, I will buy these off of you." I'm like, what?
Yeah.
You sure? And then and then I'm living in an apartment at the time, and I just like perfected the recipe. I like created my brownie blondie recipe, which is the base, and then some sort of like I perfected the cookie dough recipe on top.
Yeah.
Layered it all together, threw it in the oven, and like figured out the kinks with the baking time and all that stuff, and boom, that was kind of how Buckeye Brownies was born.
They're gourmet brownies, right?
They're very gourmet brownies. So amazing, the biggest thing when you think brownies, you think like maybe a 2x2 or 3x3 inch chocolate brownie. But the whole thing about like the competitor space is where it originated. Is that like I guess after you're done dieting, you want the most unhealthiest thing possible. I don't want to go to Giant Eagle and get Oreos because that's boring. Yeah. I want to get something that you can't buy in the store. I want to get something that's just so crazy. Of course, I want to get the most unhealthiest thing, but I also want to like, be able to post about it. I want it to look pretty. I want to be like, hey guys, look what I'm eating. This is so nuts.
It's almost an experience.
You guys, it's an experience. You guys wish you could try this.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how it all started. So I perfected the recipe, and then and of course it just started like local. And it was funny on my lunch breaks at my engineering job, I'd be like, all right, Nick, you're at the CVS across the street. I'm coming with your brownies. So like on my lunch break, I'd meet with customers.
Really?
And we would just do pickup orders. Yeah.
No kidding.
So
kidding.
Yeah, and then doing it about 2 weeks like under the table. I was like, yo, I probably got like 10 to 20 orders in 2 weeks. I'm like, I think this is gonna be a business.
Really?
So
wow.
I linked up with a website guy, which one of my good buddies from the gym, got everything going, and then of course. Before the website actually launched, we did some trial and error on shipping. Because like, if we could ship these, the sky's the limit. And then shipping was, of course, tons of. It was a coin flip at first because I didn't know how to package it. I didn't know like if it would just if it would get there, right? I didn't know, right? It was just I just trial and error. So I shipped it to all my friends. It got there perfectly fine.
Yeah.
They're like, wow, these are great. It was cool. A couple packages got lost. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I guess that's just part of the business.
Sure.
And then the website launched, and there you go. So that's kind of how Buckeye Brownies was officially born.
So how long did it take for like the news to kind of spread that you were doing this, and for people outside of that specific space, the bodybuilding space, to become clients? Like, did it take some time for that to happen? Or did it right away jump into like all separate sectors, or was it just all bodybuilding people?
So initially, it was all bodybuilding people. They just they're like, I'm competing in a couple weeks. I want your brownies for my show. I'm competing in 2 months. Can they be frozen? Can I get them now? All that type of stuff. So it originated in the bodybuilding space and grew from there. And because a real reason is because the brownies they look appetizing. They look like an amazing experience. Because they look so good. People want to get them and post about them, and that's and that just word of mouth snowballed, and it started in the bodybuilding space. And people, and a lot of the times, people will even to this day send me a message and be like, "Hey, are these protein brownies? I see a lot of competitors posting about them," and I'm just like, "Oh no, they're
not at all.
They're gourmet,
they're unhealthy,
they're gourmet indulgent type.
Yeah.
They're the good stuff.
They're your cheat day brownies.
Yeah.
So that's funny.
And then so like. It started there and just grew to now just your everyday people.
That's interesting, man. So, like, was it a couple months in, not necessarily that you were thinking, okay, I'm going to quit my job, but, like, when did you start picking up, and what amount of sales in that month were you like, holy shit, dude, we might have something here.
This is real.
Like, this is a real thing. Like, okay, I'm kind of thinking that my job, the time spent there, might be a little bit more valuable if I'm here.
100%. So once, October of 2018, when the business officially started, that November, I hit like 10,000 in sales, and I'm like, this is crazy.
Wow, dude.
This is so crazy. This is a business.
Wow.
But then after, once the website launched October 1st, and it started rolling, that's when my personal life.
Yeah.
So let me ask you something real quick though. How much, like, okay, let's just say the box of 4. Because 10,000 in sales, that's a lot of brownies, Zach.
Yeah.
Like, what do you sell a box of brownies for right now?
So a box of brownies is about $28.
Okay.
$28 to $35 before shipping.
Mm-hmm.
Shipping is like $7 to $9 across the United States.
Okay.
We have found out that at early stages that we could do international. International shipping starts at $20, goes all the way up to $55, and people will pay for that.
Yeah.
That's amazing, man. I mean, I'm not going to do the math out right now, but that's a lot of brownies.
It's a lot of brownies.
It's a lot of brownies.
But, and that's the thing. It's not your typical 2 by 2 inch square.
No.
It's each brownie is over a half pound each. There's like 3 layers.
Jeez,
3 layers to it.
dude.
There's a brownie or blondie base. There's like Oreos or Pop Tarts or something in the middle, unique. And then we have our homemade cookie dough. Put it on top. Throw it in the oven, and there you go.
Gotcha.
So
did you take any business courses or anything back in college to help you prepare, or not really?
So actually, yes. I did minor in business because I love the kind of I love the numbers of things. I sold I sold supplements like when I was a freshman in college, just on the side. I'd buy them at cost, sell them for what they sell online, and I was good at it. I would sell and like the owner of the company was like, Zach, you're selling more tubs of protein than some of our like little mom and pop shops. So I was like, I love it. I love sales. So I kind of sales kind of just came to me. And then once I had like a product that I knew was good and I knew somebody else would love it, it was very easy for me to post and promote.
So one thing in business, did you take any business courses?
I did, yeah.
Okay. So, in Business 101, they talk about the SWOT, right? The strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. And even in sales, man, I think we're running our own business at the end of the day. So it's very important that you look at your business from that kind of perspective, and make sure you can cover anything that you obviously is a threat. But I'm curious, at Buckeye Brownie, like, take us through what is your SWOT?
So, and give me the strengths, weaknesses.
So strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats.
Okay, so
we'll start with strength.
Yeah, so strengths, easy. Product's very delicious. Of course, very biased here, but I've actually accumulated over 20,000 orders shipped out since I've launched.
Wow. Wow.
It looks very appealing. And that's the biggest thing is, like, especially when buying something online, if you're not sold by how it looks,
yeah,
you're not gonna spend your hard-earned money for that.
Dude, his social media posts. I mean, you showed me. They're just all gorgeous.
Dude, those brownies are models.
Yeah.
They really are those pictures, man.
Yeah, and so looks is the big thing.
Yeah.
And then new flavors. People want new. So strength is being able to come out with. I've been able to master the old recipe, so then I can just make simple twists, add this in or add that in to make new flavors. So we come out with new flavors every month now.
Okay.
You said weaknesses. Weaknesses would be keeping up with demand now because
it's a good problem.
Because now
it's a good problem.
Getting 20 to 50 orders, if not more, a day, and I could put out about 100 to 120 every other day. That's working a solid like 8 hours. But of course, time comes. Holidays last year, working 10, 12-hour days because I just had to keep up with demand. That's my biggest weakness, I would say. The opportunities.
Yep.
Opportunities would be because it's e-commerce. The opportunities is endless. Anybody can try them. Anybody can buy them. They are. A lot of people has said, Zach, you should go on Shark Tank. You have a Shark Tank-like story.
How crazy!
And I would love that, but like I don't need the capital or anything, and how I have all this set up now, it's like I wouldn't need to go down that route. But I guess the other opportunities would I'd love to get into wholesale. I know the vision initially was I want people to be able to buy something so crazy unique that you can't get at the store. Well, if they're willing to spend the $7, $8, $9 for one brownie at the store, that's fine. And rather than have it actually shipped. So, and right now we have 3 locations that sell brownies individually. And the last one was
threats.
Any other dessert company out there? Luckily with ours, we've been able to progressively grow, get more orders every month, talk to more influencers. Influencer marketing is a big tactic of ours.
Really?
And just And just continue to grow. A lot later, there's other dessert companies in the bodybuilding space as well. So just getting my brownies in front of the hundreds of thousands of competitors and showing them that Buckeye Brownies is the real freaking deal. That's what has helped us, has helped people come to the good side, I guess you could say.
So for our Cleveland listeners and those who are obviously in the area, what 3 locations are you in right now that your brownies are sold out of? Individually, right?
Yes. So we have 2 in the Cleveland, Akron area. One is Leangelo's Pizza in Akron. The other one is Scalpers Bar and Grill and
Sharpies is the shop. Yeah, it's shop right
Sharpie
there
subs.
on Mayfield Road.
Yep. And then the other one, there's this one's in Columbus. It's called Exceeding Reality. It is think a GNC, a sports nutrition place that also sells their brownies.
No kidding.
So like I said, oddly enough, they buy like 30 at a time. They sell out in a week or 2. Sharpies and Leangelo's, they buy 60 to 70 at a time, and they'll sell in about 2-3 weeks as well.
That's amazing, man. So
and brownies, dude.
Yeah, right. That's what blows my mind at the end of the day. And this is like, I mean, listen, you don't have to say the number, but like, it's a big company, man. You're doing well. Like, you are doing well
in a short amount of
time. You have really scaled this thing. I don't know if you care to touch on that at all.
No,
but man,
yeah, absolutely. No, and kind of go back to what you were saying, Chris. So the number where I started thinking like, okay, this could be a business. So like I said, November, 10,000 in sales. I'm like, this is crazy. I'm jumping up and down. And my website guy's like, hey Zach, like, are you ready to bake brownies for the rest of your life? And he texted me that like I'm on my way to my 9 to 5 one of the days. And I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
It would be freaking sweet to do that. And like once that hit the 10,000 threshold, and that December of 2018 came, that's when it was like, that's when I really had to like, my personal life got set aside. I would package brownies from 4 a.m. to 6 a.m. every single day. I would bake. I work 9 to 5, or it was 8 to 3:30. I'd work out from 5 to 7. I'd bake brownies from 7 to midnight every day for about from December 2018 until like April of 2019. I had no personal life, but it was just I'd say it was an addiction, but I just loved people trying the new brownies, posting about it, getting a new influencer involved. They post about it, boom, 30 more orders come in, and of course it was never for the money at the beginning. It's not, because it was just seeing seeing my little child grow.
Yeah.
And then the more posts that I post, the more times I post, more times people see, and just watching it grow up, right? Watching it grow.
Wow.
And it got to the point where April of 2019 did 50,000 in sales, and that's where and that's where the website had to get shut down because I was so far behind on orders. I was at like I think the number was like 495 or something.
You had to shut the thing down temporarily.
Yeah, I said,
stop taking orders.
No, I said, hey, I can't accept any orders because at the time, with the apartment I was living in, I could only get out 40 orders every other day. Because it was in a normal oven at your kitchen. It was, and I had tons of pans, but like if there's one oven, think about it, one oven, 2 racks, you could probably fit 4 pans. 4 pans. So I stayed up from 7 p.m. to like midnight, and it was mainly the baking time because like once everything was prepared, it was like 30 minutes. So then eventually, once I hit the 50,000 sales, I had to close the website. People were like, "Oh, I want my brownies. I want new brownies. I want the order I placed, all that stuff." So I had to be customer service, which I mean that's part of the business as well. And then I knew I need to get in a commercial space. I need to grow. I need to get out of this apartment kitchen. I need to do something.
Wow.
So, rather than getting a commercial spot, I was at the same process. I was buying a house. I bought a house in May of 2019. There was a 1-car garage there. I'm like, I'm going to use this garage maybe. I do need this commercial spot. And I'm thinking, and I have like AutoCAD and stuff on my computer at my job site. I'm still working full time here. So I started like throwing a little design together. I'm like, it's 225 square foot. Table's here, fridge there. Maybe we'll make it happen.
I got a kitchen.
Yeah.
I got a kitchen.
Make it happen.
Yeah.
So I found a contractor that was like a family friend, and he came out and he's like, let's get it done.
Wow.
So And I have some crazy photos I can send you the before and after of the garage kitchen. So
that's amazing.
Put it in the podcast.
Yeah, we'll throw it up. We'll throw it up. It's like it's a full stainless steel kitchen, everything, right? Like it's
absolutely. So and that was the biggest thing. And then while I'm still at my full-time job, I'm still looking. Okay, what are the codes needed? What are the
health codes and all that.
What are the health codes?
Yeah.
Because those are a lot of things. Because I'm shipping baked goods that people are gonna put in their body. I need to make sure everything's like legit. So construction took about 2 months. I moved in May. So May and June, construction built completely, just retrofitting the whole bakery. Drywall, all that stuff, stainless steel tables, had to add plumbing. Health department came in, food safety department came in, signed off. Zach, your bakery looks gorgeous. You're free to operate.
Free to go. You were full business then.
So then, midway through that construction, and once the website got taken down or on pause or whatever, that's when I knew like, okay, when am I going to put in my 2 weeks? Because and only one of my coworkers at Turner Construction knew like, you're balling right now. Zach.
Yeah,
you're doing pretty well. And I would tell them, and the other people like wouldn't really care because it was a job. They were concerned about the construction. So then I ended up. It was like the most. It was mid-June because I started my July 3rd of 2017. I started my engineering job, and July 3rd ironically of 2019 is when it was my last day. Exactly 2 years. So 2 weeks before that, I told my manager, hey. Can I speak to you? And I'm like, my heart's like bumping.
Yeah.
And it wasn't. And financially, I was making more money with Brownies. After that December month, and we rolled into 2018, I was consistently just making more money in Brownies. I'm like, this is so crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. I have a quality product that people want, that enough people want that to keep me financially stable, and some. I was mind blown, but I was like,
wow,
this is entrepreneurship, right?
Yeah.
So did you have, when you went and pursued your dream, you knew this was going to work, did you have a lot of doubters? Did you have any doubters, or anyone's like, dude, you're crazy,
yeah,
like there's no way you could do this?
When the business started initially, there were those people like, Zach, what are you doing? Like, what's this brownie thing doing? But then once people started posting about it, and I was doing it on the side. So it was a side hustle that I hustled, put my personal life, put my relationships, unfortunately put my friends to the side, but just to focus on this for that 8-9 months. And then, but once I knew that the bakery was going to be built, and it started progressing, I knew like, I just need this done, and I could go.
Yeah.
And start sprinting. Because of course orders were on pause for a minute, and I was just waiting. Like, all right, I'm ready. And health department signed off. I was good to go, and it was just there were really no doubters at that point.
No.
At the beginning, but the only doubters were of course my parents, not financially, but more so for me quitting the safe 9 to 5.
Yeah. Are you making the right decision?
Yeah, and my dad worked blue collar job for 40 years straight, never took one day off. And he's like, you're gonna leave a 9 to 5 job? Like, are you sure?
Yeah.
Like, you went to engineering school 5 years, all these internships. Like, you sure you're making the right move? And
that's interesting.
And my mom just said, Zach, send me a financial plan, and I'm all for it. My dad was like still up in the air, and then I sent my mom the financial plan, put the Excel spreadsheet. I was making substantially more with Brownies than Turner Construction. Mom said all for it, and then my dad was like, eventually he's like, okay,
caught on.
I'm all for it.
Is he all for it now?
Yeah, he's all for it.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
So let me ask you here, if you're and there's a book that we've referenced before on this show, and one I don't think you've read it, Psychology of Money. Have you read it yet?
It's on the list. It's on the list.
It's on the list. I'm not gonna knock you like you did me during Mark's show for not reading it. So we'll let that go.
Oh, okay. I see you.
But one thing they talk about in there, Zach, is like, just very generally, we're not going to get into it that much, but like people's psychology of money and like why it is your dad has that specific mindset towards, man, you're going to leave the 9 to 5, the security, right? Like there's some sense of security around, hey, I have my 9 to 5. I've been at the same place for 40 years. You don't really see that too much often. You see that with our parents, like the longevity at a job.
It's the generation.
That's right. That's right. Different mindset for you. What are you teaching your kids now? When your son turns 18 or your daughter turns 18 and says, Dad, I have an idea, are you going to be like, let's go? Or are you going to, is there like the sense of you where it's passed down from your dad, or do you have a new mindset?
Oh, no, I have a completely new mindset. I guess the biggest thing, and it's funny, one of my other civil engineering buddies, he actually quit his 9 to 5. He had the design civil engineering job. He quit his 9 to 5 to like run Airbnbs. He's like,
wow.
He manages tons of them. And I tell him so many times, like, once you know, just the knowing, once you know that you can make money doing something else that you actually enjoy, you will work towards that 100 million times more than any other job. So to answer your question, my 18-year-old son, I would probably tell him, hey, do whatever you enjoy as long as you can make some money, because I know you'll work hard at it. Rather than telling you to go do something and then you're going to half-ass it.
That's right.
Right.
That's an interesting point. So,
and then, once Brownie started rolling, and I guess back to the weakness thing, my biggest weakness, if I had to say anything, I work too much. I can't, it's very hard for me to turn a switch off because my business is an e-commerce business. The more times I post, the more sales I get, the more influencers I reach out to, the more potential opportunities I get, the more emails we send out, the more texts we send out, the more it go. So being able to say, hey, I'm a pause, take the weekend off, it's very hard for me to do.
Very hard.
But it's gotten me to this point. So it's kind of a double-edged sword there.
Yeah.
Do you see yourself almost? I know you said you're a control freak with everything.
Absolutely.
But is there a point when you say, hey, listen, my time is better spent doing, managing or doing, the social media or meeting with influencers, and I'll pay this guy, 50, 60 grand just to go ahead and bake it. I'll teach him everything from mopping up to, shipping. Is that something you foresee? I mean, I would imagine.
It's a great question, and I have thought about that because people have said, hey, Zach, do you want to be like busting ass and baking brownies when you're 50? I don't think so.
Yeah.
Because as long as people like know the recipe and stuff and know the tendencies, then they could be able to do that. I have one employee now that me and him get after it every single day. I hired him in June of this year, and I've been able to just double the amount of product I get out.
That's huge.
Double the amount of brownies I bake per day. And I was so like, I got it covered. I can do this. I got it. I'm a control freak. I can do everything. Then once I realized hey, teamwork does make the dream work, especially when what I'm doing is very hands-on. If I can get two sets of hands, we can go twice as fast.
That's right.
We can do twice as much work. So that took me a while to learn, and I learned that, and now we crank stuff out. But I'm not sure if I answered your question.
No, I completely understand where you come from. And I think a hard part, especially for you and I, delegating is sometimes I feel like, hey, listen, my time is best spent networking with real estate agents or anybody that can refer me business, really.
Yeah.
I don't really enjoy doing the tasks like, organizing or scheduling. Stuff like that is more monotonous than anything else. But you have to do it early on. But for me, delegating was very difficult. Having to hire somebody was difficult. But it's having faith that, listen, if I want to scale this thing, you
got to let some of it go.
You have to
trust somebody else to do the work.
And the biggest leap of faith that I took was I set up at a very big bodybuilding competition in September. So I like to, ever since the business started, I'll have a brownie booth. I'll set up. I'll sell brownies individually at bodybuilding shows. They sell like hotcakes because bodybuilders, after they got
hungry,
sure,
after they get off stage,
eating.
They're willing to spend copious amounts of money on sweets. I've been there. I'm one of them. They're in the same boat. So bodybuilding events are hits for us. So one of the biggest shows in the country, one of them, is called North Americans. It's in Pittsburgh, September 1st through September 4th. I'm Mr. Sales. I love selling. I can talk to you about brownies forever. I'll sell you on brownies. But the thing is that there's 1,500 competitors. Me and my employee, let's say we bake Sunday to bring to Monday's or to drive to Pittsburgh. We brought 600 brownies. So that show, and I sold out in that day. There's 3 more days of the show. So that show, there was a lot of logistical things that I had to have lined up ahead of time with my fiance, my employee, my parents. I had to give them the reins They had to bake all the brownies. They had to drive them to Pittsburgh. They had to cut them all, put them in the bags, put them in the Tupperwares, bring them to Pittsburgh, like I said. And that was a leap of faith a little bit because that was the first time that I had no hands-on in the baking process.
It gives you anxiety, I think, sometimes.
It did.
Yeah.
So, but it worked out. It was great. I had an awesome team, and we were able to make it happen. And I brought like about 500 to 600 brownies every single day, and I sold 4 days straight, and I sold out each day.
You know, you mentioned your business being like your kid, and you take a lot of interest in your kid, and you like hyper focus on every little thing they're doing to make sure that you're being the best example for them.
Yeah.
If your business is your kid, I gotta imagine like you'd be a little bit of a control freak, because at the end of the day, it's like sending your kid off to some daycare to let Joe Schmo be the the babysitter. You don't know what the hell is going on. And on top of it, you're getting waxed for daycare fees. So I mean I can understand that. I could probably console with that, though, not being in 100% in your shoes. Like, dude, that's tough. I mean, there's parts of my business and our business, Chris, that I don't like letting go of because I want to be involved because I know my name's stamped on it. Do you think for you, Zach, that there's going to be a lot more letting go if you even want, like, where do you want to bring the company and what's it going to take for you to get there?
The answer is yes. The short answer is yes. If I want to be able to do, I'm averaging around $40,000 a month now, just on average. If I want to start doing like 50, 60, 75, or reaching 6 figures a month in sales, I'll have to hire a team, hire somebody to like just hire another me. Hire somebody that can like lead the baking session, lead the packaging session, put all the labels on, print all that stuff out. Where like now my employee is just another set of hands right now. Just another set, hey, I need you to do this, do this, do this. And where if he's not there because he's been sick a couple times, that's where I come in and I'll have to spend the extra hour or two folding the boxes and doing all those little things. But yes, if I want to keep growing, I have to hire people. The biggest thing, the bakery's in my garage right now, 225 square feet. It's only going to cut it for so long.
Yeah.
So the ultimate goal, which I think is going to happen, because most of the goals I set, I like to achieve them, would be to, because the bakery's at my house and my overhead is nothing besides the initial construction, I would like to get a property in the Cleveland area with about 5 or 6 acres and build a huge garage in the backyard, and it would just be a huge bakery.
Like a commercial property, you're saying?
No. I'd buy a house
Gotcha.
with 5 acres of land.
Yeah, okay.
And build and I say garage because it's in my garage now. Yeah. Build a huge building in the backyard, whether that's a barn or whatever it may be. And then just turn it into a huge bakery. Yeah. So that I can grow into maybe a 2,000 square foot facility with like storage, a packaging area. I'd have like a team would just bake, a team would just package. Maybe I love the social media stuff, so it'd be very hard for me to delegate. Hey, I want you to do Instagram. Hey, I want you to do TikTok. I love all the social media. I love the marketing stuff because that's kind of what gravitated towards me very easily when the business started. But in regards to like the actual hands-on labor, yeah, I have to delegate that at some point. So
so you're saying, is this a couple years down the road? Is this 5 years? Or is there not really any specific time frame? It's just, hey, when I set this amount of money aside and when I feel like, hey, I'm getting my team together, now it's time to pull the trigger?
I think I'm going to start looking for properties and land. Start looking next year because I know the housing market is still crazy. Correct me if I'm wrong. So hopefully it kind of mellows out a little bit, and then I could find some land for a reasonable price. So I'd say that next 10 to 15 year bakery that I'll stay in, if not forever bakery, would be in the next 2 to 5 years.
2 to 5 years.
So, and I've hired 1 now. I'd like to hire maybe 2. So I'd have a team of 3 and we just get after it every day. And yeah, right now, even hiring 1 extra person, I've been able to I had my all-time record month in October. I did 61,000 in sales. Best I've ever done, and me and my 1 employee, we were able to keep up with orders pretty easily. Yeah, which was it's data, and it's just kind of mind blowing to me that just having simply 1 extra set of hands, I've been able to double or triple the amount of product I produce.
Yeah. I love how decisive you are on your decision making. You know,
What do you mean by that?
like you have a plan, and you even said, you know, when I have a goal, I'm going to achieve it. You know, so you're decisive in like, hey, I'm not going to think about what if this happens, what if that happens. It's no, like this is the goal. I'm going to achieve it. You know what I mean?
Like a calculated risk. Like,
it's a
hey, I'm going to make
risk.
this decision for the business. What are the potential outcomes? What are the potential dangers? What are the potential upside? Okay, I see more value in the upside. Let me go ahead and pull the trigger.
I think that's a problem where a lot of people have. Not even if you're an entrepreneur, even if you're trying to go from, you know, maybe you're stuck in your job, even you have to be decisive in your decision making to know, like, you know, there's no what ifs and more thinking than just doing, you know.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of what I get from you is your decisive actions.
No, it was a lot easier for me because like once, at least for the next move, because I could easily be in a commercial space right now. And I could have never known the benefits of having it at my house.
Right.
There are some days there are still some days now that I'm like, okay, like on Thanksgiving, if I'm celebrating at noon and I got stuff to do, I'm gonna wake up at 5 and get it done from like 5 to 9. Where if I had a commercial space, if I have to drive 30 minutes, that drive time adds up. And if I like run out of product, or run out of flour, let's say at that commercial space, or at home, right before I go to bed, I walk outside like, okay, I gotta get flour right in the first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
So I can always check that.
Yeah.
So having this luxury, I guess I never would have known this.
It's your man cave.
Yeah.
So they're like, honey, I'm going out to the garage. You know what I'm saying? Like you're just going out to work on your hobby. You know? That's all it is.
So
that's all it is.
It's fun. It's awesome. It's a growing business. It's a legitimate business. And I know where I'm going, but I don't know exactly what the future holds.
Yeah.
Because I've been in contact with somebody that knows somebody at QVC. QVC is.
Yeah.
If my brownies got on there, it could explode, right? If I got my brownies in the hands of, let's just say, Myles Garrett or Baker Mayfield, it could explode, right? So progressively growing at a manageable pace is something that just has happened, but it's something that I've been able to keep up with, and that's something that I just keep in the back of my head. Of course, I want the big ticket, but with most businesses, it's not going to be like that.
Yeah, right.
It takes time.
Yeah, you're going to have slower incremental growth, and I think that's fine. I mean, you exploded right out of the gates quick. There's no doubt about that. But I think majority of businesses, you have slow incremental growth. You know, like Paul Gabriel told us, he's like, I'm okay if we do 1% a year, just 1% growth a year. Like that's a slow and steady type race where some people are like, you know, the meme stock, oh my God, I want to make 300% this year on my portfolio.
Correct.
You know, and it's having that patience. And I think your personality in general, Zach, is one that allows you, I think that would attribute to all of your success because just how regimented you are allows you to be successful in bodybuilding. Because I'm sure not every person you get up on stage with, not every single one, majority, is not getting up that specifically regimented. I'm working my day around my business. Oh, and now I'm training too. Like, that's like telling somebody to work 2 full-time jobs. When you're in prep mode, that really is. It's two full-time jobs. I got to be up at 4. I got to hit my fasted cardio. I got to make these meals on Saturday and Sunday for the week. Oh, and by the way, I have to make 150 orders by Thursday. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I think that type A type personality where you're a very checkbox type person, let me get it done. Like, has that always been you? You know, like, I know Mitch has told me some stories about having sleepovers with you. And, you know, when you guys were younger. Has that always been a thing?
I guess that just was ingrained in me. Like, yeah, I guess, like, in high school, I did study. I did make sure I got all my homework done before I hung out with my friends. Like, I was. And then once I got to, like, college and in civil engineering school, that's when because I'm away from my parents now. I'm by myself. I could hang out with like the OK group or hang out with like the kids that were like into working out and like cared about school. And of course, like I kind of I just gravitated towards them because I kind of cared. So the whole checking the box thing, bodybuilding amplified that because I had all these things to do. I got to go to the grocery store. I got to meal prep. I got to make sure everything's weighed out for tomorrow. I got to make sure I have my gallon done for that day, clothes laid out. So, yeah, just bodybuilding really amplified that, and then having that skill set gave me, and then I brought that in my business, and it came together perfectly.
It's a very easy concept to put on paper, right? It's just the little things you do, they add up over time. It's not one big thing. And I think a lot of college business, anyone who's wanting to be an entrepreneur, anyone who's wanting to make money in sales or whatever have you, I think it's easier to say than do is, hey, listen, you're not gonna have the a huge sale just right away. Like you said, Paul Gabriel, Everything Money, it's 1% growth a year. It's small, it's not crazy, it's not like gonna knock your socks off.
Yeah, right.
But over time,
1%
that's what
adds
happens. That's what happens is
Yeah.
you're suddenly you're a legacy brand, just like Marcus Ogden said last week, right? And so I think that's something that a lot of people, maybe you want to harp on real quick is how important really are those little things. I mean, I assume just because of your success, they're everything.
No, I mean, you said it best. It's the little things. So like, if I don't post on social media, it's such a small thing. That's 10 to 15 orders I could not be getting. If I don't send the new brownie flavors to one of my photographers, that's content I'm not going to be getting, which will translate to orders I'm not going to get. So like it is a checked box mentality, but it's just making sure everything's in line, everything flows, and just it is the little things. It's making sure all the customer emails are responded to, because if somebody lost their package, I got to help them get it. And that customer, let's say they lost it, then they end up finding it, then they might be a customer for life. And that's what I realized, especially like when some in the customer service industry, not especially the customers coming to me, not all of them are going to be happy if they pay for something and like don't get it, or they get it delayed. Just like anything in life, you get something later, you pay for something, you want it now. If it's delayed, I have to handle that. I have to put out that fire. So, but I've learned, hey, that person's a person too. Do I want that customer for life, or do I want to just burn this bridge right now?
I like that. I like what you just said. Customer for life. I like that.
And I've had to eat my own words. I've had to be like, I'll send you another box. Don't worry about it. I've had to lose a couple $100 here and there. But if that brings me a potential customer for the rest of Buckeye Brownies' career, then it's worth it. So it's just the little things add up, and bodybuilding has taught me those things, and I translated in my business. One thing that I said that I'll forever say about Buckeye Brownies is that I went to school to be a project manager, and then once I started this brownie idea, it was a project, and all I did was manage it. I managed it every single day. That it kept growing, kept building, kept being constructed according to plan, and it kept growing, and everything ended up working out. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think even growing is going to be anything different. I think it's just going to be continuously doing what it is you're doing, but stepping into spaces and just continually growing as you go as well. I don't think there's any secret sauce or any special message that you got to do. Like you have the habits down. Maybe there's refining and adding a thing here and there, but at the end of the day, I think, dude, you got the habits down, whether it's bodybuilding, getting on the stage, or it's cooking brownies. The business has grown. You've grown. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, man, it's like refining what it is you're doing now, perfecting it, and just keep it going and adding in the pieces and parts. Maybe adding a baker. Maybe adding, somebody to just pick up the phones or handle all the e-commerce type stuff, So that's what's interesting.
And one thing that, like I said, accepting help. That was one thing that was so hard for me to do. Delegating. It was so difficult for me to do. And then once I did it, I saw, boom, increase in productivity, increase in product being able to produce. So it came the same thing about email marketing. My website guy was like, Zach, we got to do emails. We got to do text marketing. We got to do all this stuff. I'm like, I'm all right. I'll get around to it. I'm okay. And then eventually I'm like, all right.
Got to do it.
Yeah, his name's Nick. He's a great dude. I said, Nick, let's get a website going. Let's get text going. Send me a proposal of what you would want from that contract per se. And yeah, ran that, and it's an extra $10,000 in sales per month.
See?
And it's all those things. So
that's wild.
Trusting other people, being willing to delegate. I know having growing pains is a good thing, but you do want, I know if I want to get to that next level, I got to keep got to keep delegating. I got to keep hiring.
Yeah.
So it'll definitely happen down the road.
No doubt. Hey, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of the Elevate Cleveland podcast. Dominic, wrap it up for us.
As Chris stated at the beginning of this podcast, we are licensed loan originators for the best mortgage company in the land. That is Liberty Home Mortgage. Guys, if you or anybody you know is looking to purchase or refinance a home, doesn't matter if you've done this 1, 10, or 100 times, call us, email us. The email is in the description below. Reach out to that email. In the subject line, put looking to purchase / refinance a home, whatever it is your goal is. Chris and I will reach out to you within 24 hours, and we look forward to helping you with whatever it is your specific home goal is. Thank you.
Well, we're almost finished here with second episode with Zack Buckeye, Buckeye Brownies.
Yep.
Listen, man, one day your company could very well be a case study in college in a business 101 class. Your come ups and everything.
That's awesome.
I truly believe it could be, right? You could see that in Cleveland State, Cleveland State one day.
That's right.
Your biggest one piece of advice you'd give to an up and coming entrepreneur, they're going to be selling freaking pencils or so whatever.
Sure.
What would you tell them?
2 things. One, you just got to do it. It's very simple, right?
Yeah.
But when I was debating on quitting my job, I was obsessed with watching tons of Gary Vee stuff. I love him.
Yeah.
And he harps on whatever decision you make, you'll never know the other side of it. I could have been an engineer for the rest of my life, but now I'll never know that. And that's a decision I chose, that I wanted to choose, but you'll never know the other side of things. So like if you have an idea, if you have a business that you want to start, if you have anything, clothing business, a painting company, whatever it may be, like just give it a shot. Just go, just try. And then just try, just get your product, whatever you think it is, whether that's a skill, an actual product, post about it. More than likely your close family and friends will be like, I'll buy it, or I'll give it a shot. And then from there, if it's quality, if it's a good product or a good service, whatever that may be, whether you're washing cars or you create paintings, whatever, if it's a quality product, those family and friends will tell more people. And then it goes from there, and it keeps growing. And that's kind of, and with the brownies, people would take a bite and be like, damn, this is good.
So just do it. What's number 2?
Number 2 is I was debating between 2 things. You might have to be okay with putting your goals first in front of your personal life.
That's tough.
That's a good one.
Because a lot of people love their personal life, whether that's going out, whether that's going out to eat, whether that's going to concerts and stuff. But if you have a goal in mind, and it's a business goal, entrepreneurship goal, whatever it may be, if you have that goal and you truly want to make it happen, you have to put it first.
Yeah.
It has to be number 1 priority.
Yeah.
It has to be. So, and if you do that for a month, 2 months, 3 months, and it's your number 1 priority, maybe at month 5, boom, it's your full-time gig. Or maybe at month 5 you get you hit a huge deal with some company now it could be your full-time gig. So those are the 2 things. You just got to do it, and you can't be afraid to make it number 1.
Have sacrifices.
Yeah.
Awesome. Chris, I think we're wrapped up. Production team, we're good. Episode 2 in the book, Zack Buckeye. We appreciate you coming out. Guys, we are on all streaming platforms now. That includes Spotify. That includes YouTube. That includes Apple Podcasts. Includes Google Podcasts. Literally any platform you can think of. Anchor. Go look it up. We're on there. On Apple Podcasts, guys, very important. We ask that you just simply go to our main page, scroll down a little bit, hit the 5 stars, and write us a review. I'm not doing a bait and switch. I promise you. It literally is 2.5 minutes. I'm not going to suck you in. All of a sudden, it takes 10 minutes. As always, we appreciate all of our viewers, all of our listeners. Go subscribe, like it, share it. The butterfly effect, guys. You never know who it is you share it with and whose hands it ultimately ends up in and what advice helps change the world. We appreciate your time today, and we'll see you next week.